Today I'm going to be ranking all of Jane Austen's major works. So I read them all except Love and Friendship. So I won't be ranking that one, but all the others I've read. So let's get into the tier list. Our tiers today, I'm just using like a pre-made tier list. I know some people will come up with the most ridiculous tier list names. Not me, girl. Not me. So this is just like a pre-made tier list that I have going on here. The first one we have is Lady Susan. The first one we have is Lady Susan, the Watsons, and Sanditon, which are all like unfinished. Actually, I think Lady Susan is finished. It's just really short. But the other two are unfinished works by her. I have read them, but honestly, I don't really remember them, especially the Watsons, because it was like very, very unfinished. But I remember because Lady Susan, I believe it's like, isn't it written in letters or something? And that I really liked. I remember I really liked the way it was written. But just because they're her unfinished works, I'm just going to put it in acceptable enough. Because, you know, they're unfinished. So, yeah. Okay. Number 2, Pride and Prejudice. I love Pride and Prejudice. I'm going to have to put it in God tier Austen. I think Pride and Prejudice is, I think it's just so iconic, and I think the characters are just, like, the personalities of the characters is, I think, what I really like. Because I think maybe objectively, I don't think it's maybe, like, better, but I think it's just more to my taste, I think is what it is. As well as it's the first Jane Austen I ever read, so there's that part of it. Okay. Number 2 would be Mansfield Park. I have shocking news, guys. I have very shocking news. I hated Mansfield Park. It's going in Mr. Collins tier. Guys, that's not a good book. It's not a good book. It was the most disappointing Jane Austen ever. It was just that, I think for me, the ending, I really didn't like the guy she ended up with. And so I was not a fan. I was definitely not a fan. I also just thought, I think it was really just the way that the story ended, but I remember also reading it. It was a very slow read. Like, with the other books, it's like, of course it's like a classic, but I felt like it was just easier to go through it. Whereas something about Mansfield Park, it was slow and I did not care. All the stuff about the play, and I think our main character's like personality, where she's like very pious and very just like, I don't know, kind of a doormat. I didn't care for it, not my favorite kind of female character. Okay, the next one is Northanger Abbey. I liked Northanger Abbey. I think I'm gonna put it in acceptable enough, and I think I'm actually gonna put Lady Susan, because they're not finished. I think I'm gonna take it down, because Northanger Abbey definitely being like a finished work is better than her unfinished work. I really liked the sort of vibe that Northanger Abbey had. I think it's very interesting how, I think almost like different it feels than her other books. Just because the character is supposed to sort of be like younger and more immature. Like, she kind of has this whole like playing pretend thing going on in her head, and I honestly thought it was really fun. But honestly, again, I didn't really care for, like, the male lead. He was fine, nothing really wrong with it, but I wasn't, like, the romance aspect, I don't think is, like, the really interesting aspect of it. I think it's just, like, this, like, teenage girl sort of, like, her mind, like, her fantasy of, like, she makes up, that she's, like, going to, was it a haunted house or, like, a murder mystery or something? She was, like, making it up because she had read all these books, and I thought that was so fun, you know? And I think it's such a, like, sweet look at, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I could see, you know, teen girls doing stuff like that, so I thought it was really fun. But I didn't really care for the romance aspect of it, so it's not God tier to me. The next one is Emma. I think I'm going to put Emma in Perfectly Splendid. I liked Emma. I liked the character. To me, the dynamic of, like, Emma being, like, younger, not younger, but, like, I don't know, throughout so much of the book, her love interest is sort of, like, acts like her dad almost. Like, in that, my interpretation of it is that he's, like, a fatherly figure, and then they, like, get married. And I don't really like that, you know what I mean? Like, the whole thing where it's like, oh, she loves him because he'll, like, tell her the hard truth or whatever. Like, I mean, that's sweet, but, like, the vibe very much so was, like, father figure to me and not, like, romance. But it's still such a good book, I think. And just, like, also with Emma, like, nosing into, like, her friend's life and everything, it's very comical, it's very fun, and it's just, like, a very enjoyable read, I think, is a big part of it. The next one being Persuasion. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I'm putting Persuasion in God tier. Persuasion has to be my, like, I honestly, it might be my favorite one. I don't know what it was about it. I think I, like, related to the character the most, but also just the very, like, almost, like, melancholy mood used for comedy. I don't know. I thought it was really good. It's one of her shorter ones too, I believe. It's, like, I feel like it's, like, half the size of all the others. But it's just so good, and the vibe is great, and I just remember reading it and enjoying it so much. I haven't read all these books, like, I've been reading them over the last couple of years, so some of them are fresher in my mind. But I felt like the yearning was so good. I think so. So Persuasion is, if it's not my favorite, it's, like, second to Pride and Prejudice to me. And the last one being Sense and Sensibility, and I'm going to put this in Perfectly Splendid. I think it's great. There's something about the way that this book is written that really is, I guess it's because of the, like, sister dynamic, I don't know, but it gives me such a, like, nostalgic vibe almost. I don't know what it is about it. I think maybe it also, in a weird way, reminds me of Little Women. I don't really know why I feel that way, if I'm being honest. Like, I haven't thought about it that much, but just, like, the vibe it has, it's so, like, nostalgic to me, even though I didn't read it as a kid. And I think just because of the way, like, it makes me feel, that's why I put it up there. I would probably put it in front of Emma and not behind Emma. Yeah, I think I'd probably put it in front of Emma. I loved Colonel Brandon in it. He was great. And, like, just the romance between Colonel Brandon and, I think her name's Mariana, right? It's so good. I don't know. I think it worked. I feel like she tries to do that a lot, where there's a more like there's like a more solemn male character who sort of initially gets written off, and then the more like flamboyant, like boisterous male ends up kind of like not being a good person. But where I felt like it didn't work in Mansfield Park, I feel like it really worked in Sense and Sensibility. And I think maybe that's also because of the dynamic. Maybe I just didn't really like Fanny Price as like a character. I'm not really sure what I didn't like about it. But I just felt like the romance didn't work as well. Oh, and also, they're related. They're cousins. Maybe that's what it is about it that I can't get over. But they're cousins. And I just kind of hated that. Like, I did not want her to get with her cousin. And I get it. It was like a thing at the time. It wasn't like unusual to marry your cousin back then. But I do not want to see that, bro. I do not want to see that. So, anyway, this is my tier list for all of the Jane Austen books that I've read.